Tonight, a shocking new development in one of the most infamous cases in American history. Could two of the most notorious killers, Lyle and Eric Menendez, soon walk free? 35 years after the brutal murder of their parents, new evidence and public outcry are reigniting a debate that has divided the nation for decades. A case once thought to be closed is now back in the spotlight, with family members, legal experts, and supporters demanding justice, whether that means continued punishment or a chance at redemption. The Menendez murders shocked the world when they first came to light. The brutal slaying of Jose and Kitty Menendez inside their Beverly Hills mansion was a crime that seemed unfathomable. The couple was found in the family room, executed in a manner more reminiscent of a mob hit than a domestic crime. As investigators worked to unravel the mystery, suspicions grew, and soon, the focus turned to the couple's two sons, Lyle and Eric Menendez. What followed was one of the most high-profile trials in American history. Prosecutors painted the Menendez brothers as greedy, spoiled young men who wanted their parents' wealth and orchestrated a cold-blooded plan to eliminate them. The evidence was damning. Multiple gunshot wounds, the excessive nature of the crime, and the extravagant spending spree the brothers embarked on in the months after the murders. To the prosecution, it was clear. This was a case of two entitled sons killing for money. But the defense argued a different story. They claimed that the Menendez brothers were victims long before they became killers. According to their testimony, the boys endured years of severe physical, emotional, and sexual abuse at the hands of their father, Jose Menendez. They described a household ruled by fear and suffering, where they believed their only escape was through violence. The case took a dramatic turn when the brothers testified about the alleged abuse, creating a narrative of survival rather than greed. Public opinion became deeply divided. Some saw the Menendez brothers as cold-blooded murderers who deserved the maximum punishment, while others viewed them as traumatized victims who had been pushed to the brink. The media frenzy surrounding the case intensified, with news outlets providing near-constant coverage. The sensational details of the trial, combined with the affluent background of the family, turned the Menendez murders into a nationwide spectacle. Initially, the first trial ended in a hung jury, as the emotional weight of the abuse allegations left jurors unable to reach a unanimous verdict. However, in the retrial, the judge significantly limited the abuse evidence, and the jury found Lyle and Eric guilty of first-degree murder. They were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For decades, the case seemed closed. The Menendez brothers remained behind bars, and the world moved on. But in recent years, a new generation has rediscovered the case, bringing fresh scrutiny to the trial and the possibility of injustice. Social media platforms have played a crucial role in reigniting interest, with younger audiences debating whether the brothers were truly guilty of premeditated murder or if they acted in desperate self-defense. A key development in the Menendez case has emerged, shedding new light on the brothers' long-standing claims of abuse. A previously undisclosed letter written by Eric Menendez has surfaced, dated months before the murders of their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez. In this letter, Eric allegedly details the immense fear and abuse he endured at the hands of his father. The existence of this letter has led many legal analysts to question whether crucial evidence was overlooked in the original trial, potentially changing the public perception of the case. Additionally, a former member of the 1980s boy band Menudo has come forward with serious allegations, claiming that he too was abused by Jose Menendez. These new revelations have lent credibility to the Menendez brothers' long-standing claims of victimization, prompting renewed interest in their case. As a result of these startling developments, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office has announced a formal review of the case, a move that many see as unprecedented. The willingness of legal authorities to revisit the case suggests a shift in how courts are beginning to approach cases involving childhood abuse and its long-term psychological consequences. Legal experts argue that changing societal understandings of abuse and trauma might play a crucial role in influencing the justice system's decision. Some believe that the Menendez brothers have served enough time and that the original trial failed to properly consider the long-lasting effects of their alleged abuse. Others, however, maintain that the severity of the crime should not be diminished, regardless of the circumstances surrounding it. The public response to these revelations has been polarizing. Supporters of the Menendez brothers have become increasingly vocal, organizing public demonstrations and launching online campaigns advocating for their release. Social media has played a significant role in amplifying their cause, with hashtags and viral posts bringing attention to their claims of injustice. Family members who had previously distanced themselves from the case have now come forward, expressing their belief that the brothers' sentences should be reconsidered. They argue that, given the current understanding of childhood abuse and its psychological consequences, the Menendez brothers should not have been sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Their advocates also highlight the emotional and mental toll of growing up in a violent household, asserting that such trauma can push victims to act in ways that might otherwise seem unthinkable. On the opposing side, critics argue that no amount of abuse justifies the brutal killing of two parents. They contend that the Menendez brothers had other options, such as seeking help from authorities or fleeing their home. According to this perspective, reopening the case sets a dangerous precedent, one that could allow other convicted murderers to appeal their sentences based on similar claims of abuse. They assert that regardless of the suffering Eric and Lyle endured, the way in which they carried out the killings, executing their parents in their own home, was an excessive and premeditated act of violence. Many skeptics also question whether financial motives played a role in the crime, given that the brothers immediately began spending lavishly in the aftermath of the murders. The upcoming decision from the district attorney's office could have far-reaching implications. If the Menendez brothers are resentenced or granted parole, it could reshape the way courts handle cases involving allegations of long-term abuse. It may also influence future rulings on cases where defendants argue that years of mistreatment contributed to their actions. The decision could serve as a stark reminder of how evolving societal perspectives influence the justice system, particularly regarding how abuse victims are treated in legal proceedings. The Menendez brothers, now in their 50s, have spent more than 3 decades behind bars. Over the years, they have only spoken together once in a televised interview, where they reflected on their actions and the circumstances that led to their crime. Their case continues to divide the nation, with some believing they have paid their debt to society, while others insist they must remain incarcerated for the rest of their lives. The legal system faces a challenging dilemma, whether to acknowledge that past injustices may have contributed to the crime or to uphold the original ruling as a necessary measure of justice.